Hello and welcome. So today we are going to be talking about the latest launch from Gaultier, and this one is Gaultier Divine Elixir. Now, this is an incredible fragrance. It was launched maybe about 3 weeks ago, or maybe almost 4 weeks ago. And I did pick it up from Harrods because they're the only ones that had it. I think that they're still the only ones that really have it. But anyway, so today I am going to give you a detailed review of this fragrance because I've had the opportunity to use it several times. And then, of course, as always, I am going to give you a comparison to the original. Now, in this line, there are really three fragrances. There's the original, there was an intense version, and now we have the elixir. I had a small decant of the intense, for review purposes, but I decided not to pick it up because I thought it was too close to the original, and I just didn't think it was worth my cash. But I definitely, as soon as I saw this bottle and the fact that it is, that smoky dark, I just thought that that was so incredibly beautiful that I knew I wanted to pick it up. But I have a lot to say about the scent or the fragrance itself. So let's go ahead and jump right in. But before we do so, if this is your first time here, I'm Arahi, and I'm your fragrance concierge because I'm totally committed to creating the best fragrance experience for you. I upload videos multiple times a week, and on this channel, we love to talk about all types of fragrances. So if that sounds like the type of content that you're interested in and like a good plan, then please consider subscribing, give this video a thumbs up, and don't forget, leave a comment. Let's go. All right, so Gaultier Divine Elixir is a fragrance that I'm going to tell you right now. The stars of this one are the tuberose and the tonka. Definitely different than the OG and the intense in my opinion. But let's take a moment to take a close look at this bottle because isn't this just absolutely beautiful? I mean, and I'm just loving that dark hue that the bottle has now. I'm just absolutely loving it. But these bottles are just absolutely gorgeous. And then look at the back. It's just beautiful all around. But anyway, so this is a fragrance that also has as the perfumer Quentin Bisch. And I have to tell you that this one does not completely depart, in my opinion, from the original, from the DNA of the OG and the intense. But at that, there is a marked difference because, as I said before, the tuberose and the tonka are the stars of this one, and they do play a very key role. I also want to tell you before we jump into the journey that you're going to get from this fragrance, that to me, the feel, the vibe of this fragrance is that of like a femme fatale for sure. This is a very dark and sexy and sensually alluring kind of fragrance for sure. So Divine the Elixir is a fragrance that opens up with a bouquet of white florals. And when you first sniff the fragrance, your eyes are going to open wide because the bouquet of white florals is quite vibrant. There's a vibrancy to the opening of this fragrance that I absolutely love. Now, in that opening, you're also going to get immediately a very strong marine quality to the fragrance. And it is a marine quality that is also going to bring a great deal of like saltiness with it. I am telling you. But the funny thing is that although you are going to have that marine quality in the opening, throughout the olfactory journey, and throughout the wear of the fragrance, this to me is really not a fragrance that was designed exclusively for the summer. Now, within those white florals in the opening, I just get a bouquet of white florals. But as the journey continues, it becomes very clear to me that the tuberose is the star and taking the lead for the white florals. And even though it has not been disclosed, I'm also picking up on a very present jasmine. As the journey continues, the tuberose intensifies, but it never reaches a point where the tuberose is screechy or obnoxious or out of line with the entire flow of the scent. No, the tuberose definitely stays in its lane, but the tuberose is the star of the florals in this fragrance. But mid in the olfactory journey, once the tuberose has started to intensify, you're also going to start to get little sniffs here and there of the tonka. And when I tell you that it starts very, very like smooth and demure, but it intensifies rather quick because that tonka is coming in, no joke, coming in all the way and strong. As you approach the dry down, you are definitely going to have that very present tonka. And the tonka is giving me like a caramelly, like vanilla kind of sweet kind of scent. I'm getting that clearly, but I know that it's coming from the tonka. I know that it's the tonka. It is very, very present, and it gives the fragrance a bit of an ambery quality. Now, although the fragrance has that tonka and it's become like ambery and there's a warmth to the fragrance, interestingly enough, at no point are you going to miss that marine quality that the fragrance opens up with. That marine quality with its saltiness will be with you all throughout the olfactory journey and throughout the wear of the fragrance. It is not going anywhere. Now, at the dry down, you are going to get like a sweet, dense, ambery, rich kind of fragrance where the white florals are key and the tuberose is the star on a background of like a very, very present, strong and intense tonka. So while the tonka is in the background, it's because I'm not picking up the tonka like right in line with the white florals. It's like the tonka is doing its own thing and being its own star and bringing that caramelly, like vanillic, like it is an incredibly beautiful scent, but you will know that it is the tonka. At all that scent will continue to have that marine salty quality to it because it is not going anywhere. But at the dry down, the real stars are the tuberose and the tonka with all of the other notes and accords playing around it. I really don't pick up on any musk or any oud in this fragrance, and I think that this is best suited for the ages of 25 plus, but I can see anybody using it. This is a fragrance that you could consider it unisex, but leaning heavy to the feminine side, in my opinion. Can I see a gentleman wearing this fragrance? To be honest with you, just wear whatever you want, but I cannot see a gentleman really wearing this unless it's layered with more of a woody or more of a masculine leaning fragrance. This is to me definitely unisex, but leaning heavy to the feminine side. I think that this is perfect for the seasons of like fall, winter, and spring. To me, this is not a summer fragrance because that tonka is quite present and quite heavy. This is very much a dense fragrance, and we'll talk more about that when I talk to you about the feel of this fragrance. I think that this is one that you could pull for any occasion, day or night, as long as you're not going to like the gym or, any situation where you're going to be perspiring is not one that I recommend that you use this fragrance for. But of course, do whatever works for you. I just don't think that this goes well with any scenario where you're planning to perspire, right? So I would not definitely wear this on a warm summer day. I would not wear this to the gym. Another thing that I am loving about this fragrance is how it performs, because it is a powerhouse. While it's not full on beast on my skin, it is giving me an 8+ hour wear without me having to overspray or reapply it or anything like that. It has a very strong projection during, I would say, the first 2 hours or a little bit over 2 hours. After that, it does become a scent bubble. And towards the end of the day, it is an intimate skin scent, but it is a fragrance that you're going to be able to sniff on yourself all throughout the day, and those around you will definitely notice it. So now let's talk about how the elixir compares to the OG. So the opening of these two fragrances is quite different because in the OG, there's a certain level of airiness coming from citrusy notes And in the opening of the OG, you are clearly going to pick up on the bergamot. That is not the case with the elixir. The elixir does not open airy. It's not cloying, but it doesn't open airy. It's a very dense fragrance from the get-go. In the OG, you're also going to find a mix of white and yellow florals, while in the elixir, it's really all about the white florals that open the fragrance and are there throughout the entire journey and throughout the wear of the fragrance. At that, within the white florals, the one that does take the lead is the tuberose. In the original, I do clearly pick up on the white and yellow florals, but I can't say that there is one that really takes the lead completely. Both of these fragrances do have that marine salty quality. I think it's part of the DNA of these fragrances, but I can tell you that in the OG, I find that marine quality to be less present than what I find in the elixir. I find that the marine quality in the OG is definitely less salty than what you're going to find in the elixir, because in the elixir, that marine quality almost immediately hits you with like a strong dose of that salt. In the original, I also find woodiness. In the elixir, I really don't find necessarily woodiness. What I am experiencing is a ton of tonka. This fragrance, again, is all about the tuberose and the tonka. And the tonka, especially at the dry down, once the tonka comes into the fragrance, it's quite overpowering. It is a very, very strong tonka note. In the OG, I don't get that tonka. I do get woodiness at the dry down. Also, while in the elixir, I don't get much musk. In the OG, I do clearly pick up on the musk, and that musk is to the tune of like a level 2 to 3. It's not animalic to my nose in any kind of way, but it is definitely present. That is not something that I experience in the elixir, because in the elixir, all I experience are those white florals and the tonka. The tonka is definitely dominant right along with the tuberose. So all in all, for me, when it comes to the OG, I think that this one is, one that you could pull in an easier fashion than in the elixir. Like, I can see myself pulling this for just about anything, but with the elixir, I'm going to have to give it a bit more thought. And I'll talk more about that now when I discuss with you the feel of the fragrance. So when it comes to the feel of this fragrance, I can tell you that for me, it is very clear that this one was designed to be like the sexy one of the entire lineup, right? So between the OG, the Intense, and this one is definitely the sexy one. This gives me complete femme fatale vibes. This is the kind of individual that knows of their beauty, of their allure, of their sensuality. It's like they know that they have the power to charm others, and they use that power with no excuses. This is also the type of individual that primarily has just, like a black wardrobe primarily. They may wear other colors here and there, but most of their wardrobe centers around like very sleek, very minimalist leaning kind of attire. This may also be the fragrance that this individual has as their signature scent. And you will find that wherever they go, they leave a trail of this scent. That is what I get from this fragrance for sure. I can tell you that I am so excited to have this one now for the fall season that is approaching, because this is a DNA that I really do love, and I am really enjoying that very, very dominant tonka note. I definitely am. And I think that this is a very, very solid release. Not to mention the fact that I am just loving the bottle. The juice goes right along with it. I tell you, I give this one a 9.5 out of 10. All right, so we've reached the end of today's video, and I hope that this was enjoyable for you. I just wanted to come on here and share with you my thoughts on this new fragrance from Gaultier. And I think that Divine Elixir is a beautiful addition to this lineup. I think that many of you will definitely enjoy it. It is a much more dense fragrance compared to the previous two launches, but it definitely has its place in this collection. As always, thank you so much for hanging with me today, and I will see you all in the next video.